Who leaves college football first, Jim Harbaugh or Nick Saban?
Harbaugh. Sorry, David, but Harbaugh.
Hey, at this point, we'll help him move.
Yeah, David's getting the car right after this to drive up.
He did everything, man. I mean, you did it all.
See, how did you not, though, how if you're Jim Harbaugh with the Cartier sunglasses on yesterday, how are you not eating a burger from the brown jug? Is that what it's called? On the podium. I would have had one brought.
Whatever.
And I would have Connor Stallions and a burger up there celebrating with us.
Oh, Connor was up there.
Because I'm petty. I'm
He had a Central Michigan.
Connor was up there. Connor was actually Harbaugh dressed up.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I thought when he put the shades on, I really did think back to Bo, because he was the subject of one of my posts. One of my earliest games to work that was meaningful to me was the end of the '86 season. Jim was third in the Heisman balloting. It was the first week in December, and it was one of those crazy years scheduling-wise. And maybe it will take some Michigan fans, some hardcore, Dr. Sapp type people, David, for a little inside Michigan there, people to tell you why. But he chose to play Hawaii on the first Saturday of December, which was obviously Heisman Saturday. And we got the game, our Saturday night CFA primetime crew, and I was the host sideline guy. This was before game day was created. And I'll never forget Bruce Made, the longtime SID, setting me up, and I was so excited to get to talk to Bo, both pregame and postgame. And Bo was one of these old cantankerous, could be gruff at times, but especially if he didn't know you. And I was a babe in the woods at the time. I just turned 30, and I don't know that he really knew who I was, but he came over. He says, "All right, Bruce tells me we're going to talk." I said, "Yeah, I'll get whatever you need, but just I need only a couple of minutes." I said, "Just a couple of minutes." And then when the game was over, he stopped and we talked. But he got it. He was just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
As I said, gruff in the moment, but such a nice guy. And I think a lot was made last night, and understandably so, of Jack Harbaugh and that family. And I've met them all in Crestline, Ohio, as a matter of fact. The Gottfried family from Crestline was close. Joe Gottfried was very close to Jack Harbaugh. Joe is Mike Gottfried's brother and Mark Gottfried's father, the basketball coach. And I played in that golf event that they had, and we talked a lot about the relationships that they had and what just a down-to-earth guy Bo always was. And that's one of the things that people loved about him. Even those people he pissed off had to like him, because of the guy he was. And I feel sort of the same way about Jim. I think he patterned himself after Bo as a head coach.
Yeah.
The team. I mean, he knew exactly the chord to strike with Michigan at a time when that program was in dire straits. And when you think about what he went through, the lack of patience, and Michigan people really thinking about running him out, taking a pay cut, post-COVID going through the entire situation of letting Don Brown go, a man that he really respected a great deal, still has a great relationship with, but they couldn't beat Ohio State with Don Brown's defense. So he brought in what? Intellectual property from a 21st century coach that had been part of the Ravens with his brother John. And I thought Minter's defense was the difference in the game, without a doubt. I mean, they absolutely forced, I think, a great quarterback, an elite quarterback, into having an awful night. And the timing was off. The secondary had the receivers, the best group of receivers we've ever seen. They had them in their grill and manned them up and out-physicaled them throughout the game. But Penix wasn't sharp, and part of that was because of Michigan's defense and its intensity. Now, Jim Harbaugh made tough decisions, and decisions that ultimately got them to the promised land and an undisputed title for the first time in 48 years. That's saying a lot. So congratulations to him. And I don't know what they're going to do in the future, but I know this: Michigan's going to be perceived in a manner that they want, because now they've got some currency. Currency to go along with their history. It had been a long, long drought for them in terms of, national championship opportunities, and they took advantage of it.
And Tim Brando, I have to say, you've had that winged helmet in your shot there at the Chateau for as long as I've known you these last 3 years. That's not a new addition. We were 3 points away from playing for the national title my freshman year. Since then, the Southeastern Conference has had a stranglehold on college football. They've been the dominant force. The Buckeyes have been the dominant force and the gold standard in the Big Ten. What you talked about with Jim Harbaugh, Michigan went and got its guy, the guy who played quarterback for Bo Schembechler. Right. It was as bad as it could be after the 2020 season, down in the dumps, rough times. Since then, he's gone 40-3. And what I've said is Michigan, this team, this unit just won. They just won their first national title in program history. And I say that because every other championship up to this point was either claimed or it was awarded with the media or the coaches. This one was won. Can you put it into perspective just from a historical standpoint on what Michigan was able to accomplish and what it means for some of these other blue blood programs across the country who haven't quite been able to get over the hump yet?
Well, a proud tradition reborn is a difficult thing to claim. Okay, they've been trying to do it at Texas for quite a while. Okay, since 2005. You can see and you can visualize what they're going through. They got close this year. They took that first step. Nebraska, my God, after owning college football in many eras, okay, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, they're still clamoring for that opportunity. What Jim did is prove that it can be done. And I think it's even harder, David, when you are coaching at your alma mater. I think the pressure is even greater because it's self-imposed. Yeah. There's such self-imposed pressure that's brought on. Nothing that went on from the periphery was bothering Jim Harbaugh any more than Jim Harbaugh was bothered by his lack of productivity during that period when he couldn't get past Ohio State. And he showed a great deal of humility and I thought intelligence. And through this entire process, even up till that was the first time last night in that presser, and I didn't hear the question, but I overheard the comment on SVP's show late last night. He said, "We're innocent." Okay, and whether he's innocent or he's not innocent, doesn't matter. He answered the question. Okay, regardless, he answered the question. And for that alleged situation to take place, it would have cratered, most coaches because of their not being necessarily comfortable in their own skin. Jim, for all of his quirks, is incredibly comfortable in his own skin, which tells you that at his core, he feels that he's honest and he feels that he looked in the mirror, found the enemy at times, and the enemy was himself, and he addressed those issues. And when you bring in guys that are part of your staff that can win without you, all right, that says a lot about the guy that's the leader. Okay. Oh, yeah. And whether it was more on offense or Mentor on defense, and I thought he was the difference from a coaching standpoint this past week. In a short week to get ready for a team that was that different from Alabama's. Okay. That defense was completely different in design than the one we saw get 6 sacks against Jalen Milroe. And it had to be. And it was another one of the reasons why I really thought Washington would win the game. Yeah. Because a quick turnaround, I really felt you'd need 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get ready for what Washington was going to do if you were a Michigan team, because they had not seen anything like him. But to the credit of those that felt like the line of scrimmage would also be different and unique, good for them, because they threw around that offensive line in a way that I never thought they would. And so that was the difference in the game. And again, Jim Harbaugh as the leader, he takes the hits for things that happen within the program. He must also get the credit for the hires that he made, the staff he put together. And when he believes that he's doing it the right way and that there's a lot of purity going on within that program, I believe him. Okay, regardless of what anybody else has to say.
Hey, YouTube, hope you enjoyed the live stream of the National Championship game. Apparently you did. It was a huge success. We thank you guys. If you haven't already or you just found out about us, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on, and call in. We have live calls and a live chat. It's the Booster Club. It's an exclusive club, but I think you're cool enough to join.